stopping to sponsor impunity, by stopping sponsoring illegality. Dictators in Africa are largely funded by the West. General Idi Amin was funded by the West until they were tired of him. General Museveni receives a lot of money, up to $1 billion annually.
Is it him or it's the country? Do you mean?
But Uganda is
General Museveni, Kenya receives money.
Okay, but General Museveni has reduced Uganda to his personal property. This is a kind of person that goes on national TV and says, "My oil." Okay, we are talking about General Museveni, and you know him.
So let me ask you this, because he accuses you of being a puppet of the West.
If anybody is a puppet of the West, General Museveni is a puppet of the West. The West does not pay me. The West pays General Museveni. The West protects General Museveni. The West turns a blind eye on the illegalities of General Museveni. You know, when Bashir did what General Museveni is doing, he was sanctioned. When Mugabe did to the people of Zimbabwe what General Museveni is doing, he was sanctioned. When all other dictators, the Saddam Hussein, etc., did what Museveni is doing, they were sanctioned. Why is Museveni not sanctioned? You know, we attempted to believe that, you know, he is an agent of neocolonialism in Uganda. Today, we are being colonized by fellow black people.
You meet ambassadors, you meet high-ranking leaders as you go around the world.
Yes,
you pass this complaint.
I tell them that straight.
What do they tell you? What do they respond? What do they tell you in response?
Well, I might not say everything that they say to me, because some of them actually, off camera, they will agree with me. And others that are so embarrassed of what they are doing say, we'll look into it, which clearly means we're not going to do anything about it.
You've spoken about something you see in Uganda where a statement is made publicly by a leader, it's disowned by many, but later on things begin to unfold. And on the 8th of November, you tweeted, "Dear Kenyans, be vigilant. This may come as a lone MP making a ridiculous suggestion, but this is how it starts. That's how schemes to remove term and age limits begin. Defend your constitution before it's too weak to defend you."
Yeah.
You saw that statement. For you, what did you feel as you read what was a discussion in Kenya?
When I saw that, I saw Musevenism making inroads into Kenya. And that should scare you. Any sign of Musevenism is a dangerous sign. And I'll tell you, I respect Kenya. I don't intend to meddle into the issues of Kenya, but we are one and the same. These borders were drawn by colonialists. Our father Kwame Nkrumah told us that the liberation of Africa can only be real if we are all free. No country is free when their neighbors or when their brothers and sisters across the borders are not free. Dictatorships are the easiest things to export. I was concerned when General Museveni was referred to as father of the region, but yeah, we can respect age, but General Museveni
he is respected by many for restoring peace, order in Uganda after the chaotic period, economic
people
growth.
That look at General Museveni,
there are those who see that as his enduring legacy.
Well, I mean, everybody looks at it from their point of view. Some people look at it from a beneficial point of view. I am a Ugandan, and I'm speaking on behalf of the majority of Ugandans, because we went to the polls and they gave me their mandate. But I'm also speaking from the point of common sense, because you know that when it starts like that, you certainly see where it's ending. So the reason why we go to school, and I'll quote Dr. Besigye, is to learn from the experiences of others. If you Kenyans cannot learn from the experiences of Ugandans, then it will be unfortunate for you to learn from your own experiences.
In a nutshell,
I told you to guard your constitution before it is too weak. To guard you, constitutions are supposed to be bigger than leaders, bigger than presidents. You have had the privilege of watching one leader peacefully hand over power to another leader. You don't want to lose that. You want leaders to be held accountable, for leaders to constantly be reminded that their term is going to expire and they will go off the presidency and others will come into power. And they should be reminded that they will be held accountable for the things they do while in power. You must not lose that, my brothers and sisters.
When do you think a transition like that will happen in Uganda, how soon? Where one president hands over to another, which I believe is something that has not been seen.
That is something that my grandparents longed for. And then my parents longed for it. And now I'm longing for it. General Museveni took power when I was 4 years. I'm now 40. You know, Uganda has been independent for 60 years. General Museveni has taken 36 years of that and still counting. So for me to be on this TV and tell you that on such and such a date is when we're going to have a peaceful transfer of power, I would be lying to you. We still have to struggle to ensure that power leaves an individual's hand and goes back to the institution of state. The institutions are the ones that are going to be bigger than human greed.
What was your assessment of Kenya's election? You were here as an observer with Dr. Kiza Besigye and others a couple of days. I believe you landed here a couple of days before August 9th, and I don't know how long you stayed after that. What was your general assessment of our democracy here?
Wow, what can I say? I was astonished. I go to the airport, the election was tomorrow, the internet was still on, and it continued to be on even through the election. I did not see people being abducted or the military everywhere. You know, I did not see, you know, the opponents of the incumbent under house arrest. It was astonishing. And I'm not saying Kenya's democracy is perfect, but I said it earlier on that as imperfect as your democracy is, you are certainly where we envy. But again, democracy is always just a step away from extinction. So you must guard it jealously.
A couple of years back, you made a radical decision to, and you said in your 30s, because you're now 40, you know, your average Friday would have been you partying and, you know, entertaining Ugandans and the world. But you made a decision to get into the world of politics and activism as well. And what is your message? But before that, why did you decide to make that sacrifice of speaking up? Because many feel that there's a price you've paid for that.
I don't know if I will be understood if I say I didn't make that decision. The decision made me. You know,
something bigger than you?
Yeah, I mean, I looked around and there's nobody that could represent me like myself. You know, we have always looked up to the intellectuals of this world. Back in Uganda, intellectuals are the worst undoing to our country. You know, they are either scared or too satisfied. They have too much to protect. But we were many. So I rose to the occasion to represent my people. I started out as an activist, and before long, my friends around me were saying, yo, the things you tell us, go tell them to us publicly. And when I made that step, man, looking around, masses were like, yo, you are the guy. And I said, okay, did you say I'm the guy? All right, I'm the guy. Put on my suit. And here we are.
How has your family been impacted by your political activities?
It has been a big impact. We've lost, of course, lots of comfort, lots of privacy, lots of freedom. My children have had to grow up much faster than their ages. My youngest child is now 7, but she knows things that she probably would learn at 16. There's been a lot of discomfort, but I must also look at the positive. There's been a lot of love. We receive a lot of love from people, much as other families are suffering. And many times I even feel embarrassed. I feel we receive too much love because many other families are suffering, but we get love from people simply because of the decision that I made.